Hello my friends, today we bring you Katheryn Winnick's filmography. Biohazardous. A research company in a quiet town secretly conducts experiments to reanimate the dead. When teenagers break in, they face zombies and must escape with the help of employees and police. Smoking Herb. Dex and Eric enter into a growing rivalry with Herb, an evil nerd. At the same time, Dex tries to balance this conflict with the beginning of his relationship with Marcia, the girl of his dreams. Fabled. Joseph deals with a heartbreak, guilt over the past, and suspicions about conspiracies around him, while monsters try to kill him. An allegorical fable raises doubts about what is real and what is in his mind. 2 weeks' notice. Lucy Kelson works for billionaire George Wade to save a community center, but she gets frustrated with his dependence on her. When she quits and hires June, she becomes jealous and questions her decision to leave him. What Alice found. A young woman trying to escape her life is rescued on the road by a friendly couple in a trailer. But as the miles pass, the couple's motives are questioned, and a strange mother-slash-daughter relationship develops. 51st Dates. Henry Roth, a flirtatious veterinarian in Hawaii, falls in love with Lucy Whitmore, who suffers from short-term memory loss. To be with her, Henry must win her over every single day. Satan's Little Helper. A naive young woman is manipulated by a serial killer and, upon discovering his dark intentions, fights to escape, expose him, save other potential victims, and put an end to his reign of terror. Going the Distance. To prevent a high school graduate from making an impulsive decision, 2 friends convince him to embark on an epic cross-country trip, hoping to help him reflect on his future. Trump Unauthorized. The film follows the journey of Donald Trump, from his rise in business to his marriages with Ivana Trump and Marla Maples, offering a glimpse into his personal and professional life. Hellraiser, Hellworld. 5 players from Hellraiser go to a party at a mansion to explore the myths of the Cenobites, facing the psychopath Pinhead and entering a world they thought was fictional. Cloud9. A faded former star, struggling financially, plans to form a volleyball team with athletic strippers, challenging expectations and facing obstacles in her pursuit of success. Failure to launch. At 35 years old, Tripp has a comfortable life but still lives with his parents. Desperate to get him to move out, they hire a woman to encourage him to become independent. Kiss Me Again. A teacher and his wife decide to spice up their marriage by seducing a young Spanish student of his, but the relationship between the 3 of them takes completely unexpected turns. 13 Graves. The search of a former treasure hunter for his missing brother intertwines with a dangerous mission to find lost ink and gold, pushing limits and facing relentless enemies. Tipping Point. A medical student investigates the death of a powerful man, suspecting a brain tumor. As she searches for evidence, her own sanity begins to be challenged, leading her to question the reality around her. When Nietzsche Wept. Friedrich Nietzsche is secretly treated by Joseph Brewer, who, at the request of a concerned friend of Nietzsche worried about his suicidal tendencies, applies psychoanalysis without his knowledge, attempting to save his life and mind. Law Dogs. A perspective on the life of a public defender, facing the daily challenges of fighting for justice in a complex and relentless legal system while dealing with ethical dilemmas and emotional cases. Amusement. A chilling thriller about 3 childhood friends who, through a Machiavellian plan, are being hunted by a serial killer seeking revenge for past events, armed with a deadly hatred. Cold Souls. Paul Giamatti discovers a company that removes people's souls to relieve their suffering, but he regrets it when his soul is sold to traffickers in Russia, leading him to try to recover it. Killers. Jen and Spencer's peaceful life is turned upside down when she discovers that her husband is a professional hitman, putting both of them in danger and forcing Jen to make risky decisions to survive. Radio Free Albemuth. In a science fiction thriller by Philip K. Dick, Nick Brady begins receiving messages from space and gets involved in a conspiracy to overthrow the authoritarian regime of the United States. Love and Other Drugs. Maggie, a commitment-averse woman, meets Jamie, a charming pharmaceutical salesman. Together, they surrender to the most powerful drug of all, love, while facing unexpected challenges. Tranced. Annie Bodie, a single mother in a frustrating job, has her life transformed when she meets billionaire Sterling Wins, who helps her discover that happiness and her dreams are within reach. Night and Day. June Havens meets Roy Miller, an undercover agent, during a flight and soon finds herself involved in an international adventure, reluctantly becoming his partner in a dangerous mission. Choose. A journalism student teams up with her detective father and a therapist to investigate a killer, delving into a dangerous mystery and facing challenges that test their skills and emotions. Batshit Crazy. Joseph, after losing his dog, girlfriend, and suffering vandalism, decides to bring an old fable to life, plunging his loved ones into a nightmare with unpredictable consequences. Stand Up Guys. Valentine, a former gangster retired after more than 20 years in prison, reunites with his old friends Hirsch and Doc, who also left the world of crime. Together, they try to cope with the consequences of their past. A glimpse inside the mind of Charles Swan III. Charles Swan III has the perfect life until his girlfriend ends the relationship, causing everything to fall apart. Now, he needs the help of his friends to overcome the crisis and rebuild his life. The Art of the Steal. Crunch Calhoun, a motorcyclist and thief, is betrayed by his brother Nicky and sent to prison. Upon his release, he joins his old gang to steal the world's most valuable books in a daring heist that puts everyone at risk. The Dark Tower. The gunslinger Roland Deschain is on a quest for the Dark Tower, a magical building about to disappear, in pursuit of the Man in Black, facing time passages and confusions between the real and the imaginary. Speed Kills. Don Arono, a racing champion and creator of the cigarette boat, becomes a multimillionaire selling boats to powerful figures and working with governments and cartels, until his dangerous dealings turn against him. Polar. A hitman on the verge of retirement must postpone his dream life when his greedy boss sends a group of young, ruthless killers to eliminate him, forcing him to fight for his survival. Wander. Arthur Bretnick is a private detective with a traumatic past. After being hired to investigate a possible murder cover-up in Wander, he finds himself immersed in a world of lies. The Marksman. The story of a farmer living on the Arizona border who becomes the unlikely defender of a young Mexican fleeing desperately from cartel assassins who have chased him into the United States. Flag Day. A young person struggles to overcome obstacles from their past while trying to reconcile their bond with their father, who turns out to be one of the greatest forgers in U.S. history. Who would you like to see in the next video? Write in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.